Hello and welcome in again, friends. This is March 11th. The 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10, begins right now. So this is all about social media today because I get asked a ton about how do I use social and what do I see the value in social, whether it's from clients or it's just from people about how we run our business. Here is what I will admit to all of you. I do not like social media from a user standpoint, from my perspective, because it just isn't how I personally go about things. But when we started the business, we knew it was going to be important. And people have always said that, you know, my approach, my attitude, whatever, my persona is really good for social. I've always seen it as a bit of a negative because I am loud, obnoxious, and tend to not back down from things, which is not necessarily the best way to go about social media. Although I will say social media has taught me to let it roll off my back more because I realize that it's just a bunch of people who have their opinions at a distance, and more than likely they'd never say it to your face. So that's fine with me. And then we'll have that discussion. And I try to never really get negative in general, just because it's not who I am. And that's another reason that I don't really tend to use a lot of social media, is because I see a little bit of negativity. But as a non-user, I will say LinkedIn became the first sort of entry into things, right? So the quick analogy I'll give you that is my wife begged me for years to try sushi. I said no. She took me to a sushi place that gave me like basically really, really great steak with like cream cheese and asparagus. I was hooked, right? I was like, well, wait a second. This is how a sushi can be. And then now I'm a sushi nut, right? So I engage. And that's what LinkedIn did for me. And I went to LinkedIn and I just started to see professional people and professional conversations. And then we started to think, okay, well, what are we going to post? And I did a lot of reposting of other people's shit. And then it was just ringing hollow for me because that's what I had seen. And that's sort of how I learn, is based on what I see and what I know. So reposting shit didn't really work, and it seemed kind of, like I said, empty. So then that's where this came from, the show. The show was born out of this idea of, why don't we provide content? Because I can talk, right? Everyone knows that. I'm full of ideas, some good, some bad, but they're in there. And I have opinions. So, okay, well, 5 Minutes was born. There you go. Wonderful. And then you see people who post like nuts, right? Like, let's take Jason Harris, for instance. I believe he said to me over lunch that it is 14 times a day that this dude is posting, engaging content across 4 platforms. I got exhausted just hearing him say that, frankly, because that's too much for me, right? I post maybe 2-3 times a week to my own board. Otherwise, where I find my pleasure in LinkedIn social media is in commenting and giving feedback to others who ask for it. Okay? That's why I like being on there, is for others, which I realize probably flies in the face of why most people are on social, potentially for themselves. But I like to see what other people are doing and talking about, and then give different avenues and ways to think about it. It's a community of like-minded people, right? I get it. That's social media. I totally understand. How parents use social media for what? Well, they use it to, look at their grandkids or do whatever it takes for that. And I've been hearing a lot about, well, LinkedIn isn't Facebook. Quit showing me what you had for lunch. Quit talking about your workout. That's stupid. It's all social media. Stop drawing a distinction between platforms. Whatever people do with their lives and they want to share with other people, let them share it. And if you don't like it, block them, right? I think that's a thing. Producers?
Or unfollow.
Unfollow
is
right?
a nice...
Unfollow is a nice way of being like, look, no one knows. Beep, beep, done. So instead of doing all this nonsense, just move on and do it. There's plenty of people in my feed I think are annoying. I just unfollow the feed. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It seems simple. Or you're someone who keeps it in your feed because you feed off of it, and then it turns you into this sort of like negative monster, just goes rolling downhill looking for fights. Again, have it, but that's not how I use or would like to use social media. I use it to get the message out there. It's an easy way to take this podcast and get it put out as far as I can for people to hear it. And again, remember, this is not a revenue generating thing, this podcast, okay? This is just my time and internal therapy session. I spread the word so that if this one podcast each week helps one person, I feel good about it. Because this is a one-take deal. If you saw last week's episode, Kitty jumped up here. That's life. We don't reshoot. We don't turn around. We don't edit. There's nothing to edit. Don't edit your life. Put it out there. Let people see who you are. That's what you should be using social media for. Just try to use it more positively. Try not to make it negative. I saw this very interesting post about someone said, look, it was basically an iceberg. And the iceberg said, social media comments and likes, and it was the top of the iceberg. And below it is the obvious, just massive iceberg. Point? Comments and likes are like a fraction of the story. So are followers, okay? I hear this all the time. People, I have X amount, I have X amount. Sean, you only have this. Yeah, because I'm extremely selective. The audience you see in my world is to my two passions in life. That's what they are. That's the use of a wonderful plant and the car business. That's what you see all over my LinkedIn page. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not going to back down from it because that's what I want to do. That's how I want to utilize social media. I want to use and look at what my passion is, what feeds me, right? And that's what feeds me. So you should do the same. Watch and follow things that are important to you, that you want to engage with, that keep you positive. The other side of posting 14 times a day is someone like my wife. She does not post, but she will consume social media at an alarming rate. It's an alarming rate.
It's education.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you're doing, right? Because she's heavy into fitness, like bonkers crazy, like I am about cars. My wife is about fitness. So all she's doing, man, it's just like wham, so watch this video on squats, and it's just she learns something new every day from social media. But I don't know how she keeps up with it.
But it also keeps you motivated. Other people are out there having harder days than you, and they get their workouts done. They get their jobs done.
See, this is what we do, folks. This is the perspective that she brings to me and to my life. Is what about what other folks are seeing? What about what a bad day truly looks like? That's what you should be doing with social media. Consume it for the betterment of yourself. Don't go there to be shitty, negative. It does no one any good at all. And last thing, like I said, I post to multiple networks because not everyone's on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, whatever. So again, to spread the message. But if you don't feel like you can keep up, don't stress yourself out, man. Social media posting fatigue is a real thing. People get burned out trying to keep up. It is not easy. Will you ever see me post something about what I eat? No, you won't. Will you see me post about something cool I'm doing? Maybe.
Really?
But it's probably about work.
Yeah.
It's probably about work. I don't engage social media on a personal level at all. 0. Again, for anyone who sees the Sean Welsh Facebook page, that exists because Sean Welsh needs it to have Car Biz Done Better Facebook page. Okay? It's updated with the new picture. Beautiful, wonderful. Doesn't matter. Okay? Remember, that is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to be about business. It's the only reason I'm on social media. So think about how you're on it. Think about how maybe potentially you could do it better, right? Because that's what we're about here. Doing things better. Thank you guys so much for your time as always. Where can you find me on social media, you ask? Interesting. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The podcast is all over. Anywhere you consume your podcast, you can hear me. If you don't, let me know what that network is, and I'll be sure to get the show on there. And if you missed any of the other shows and you wonder, well, where can I find it the easiest? The Car Biz Done Better YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's got everything we've ever done. This is going to be like mid-70s episode. So there is a ton for you to consume at your leisure. And as always, let me know what you think and make sure you go out and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful week. Thanks a lot.